Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here today. My name is Denise. I'm also known as heywigsister on Instagram and Facebook. Today I'm here with a wig review for you in partnership with Name Brand Wigs. I'm here to show you Wille DEVINE in the color Champagne Rooted, and the codes for that are 22.16.25. Divine in Champagne Rooted from Wille's Hair Society collection. If you want to know more about this really cute, short, low density, no poof style, then stick around. I'll tell you all about her. Hint, this is a good one for summer. What a fun style to be able to show you guys right as we're heading into summer. Obviously, somebody may be watching this review in the dead of winter, but as I'm filming it, it is the very beginning of June and it's just starting to get really hot outside. So I'm really excited to be able to bring you a shorter style. So, to get a little housekeeping out of the way, Name Brand Wigs did send me this wig so that I could show her to all of you. It's such a joy to partner with Name Brand Wigs because I get to try so many different styles and talk to you all about them. They are such a great online retailer. You can find them at www.namebrandwigs.com. They have tons of information at their website. They have education. They have some great customer service support. They try to have some of the best prices out there. They have coupon codes regularly, just a really good resource. So if you've not checked them out before, please go check out their website the next time you're in the market for a wig. I will link this particular piece down in the description below. Let's take a look at this one from all sides and then I'll start telling you all about her. This one is very low density and has such natural movement. The fibers are light and fine. There's no permatease at all on this, no poof whatsoever. So if you are looking for a low density piece that's not going to be overwhelming with no poof, this could be a great one to consider. I constantly want to do this with it, because the fibers are so soft and silky and they feel so realistic. And because of how this is constructed, when I do this, I reach right down to cap and it just almost feels like I'm just touching my head. You can barely feel the wig cap, which is so fantastic. Really love that about this piece. One of the challenges though that I am finding with this is that it does like to hang in the face in the front here. It definitely doesn't have any of the lift that will help keep this piece off of your face. So you have a couple of options when that happens with a wig. I think because of the light, wispy nature of these fibers, I think just wearing it and kind of doing this regularly will start to help to train those fibers up and away from the face. Sometimes all you really need to do is redirect those knots a little bit, and because this is a lace front with a mono part, there's a lot of, and all of this top is hand tied, there's a lot of hand tied features on this. Doing this will help to redirect those knots a little bit and help the wig to eventually learn to stay out of your face. Another option that you have if a wig hangs in your face is you can take some steam to it and you can redirect those fibers. If you took a little bit of steam to the front of this wig and just sort of gently, like a clothing steamer, just gently steamed this up and away, don't do it when it's on your head, and then sort of held it a little bit until it cooled, that's going to get this to have some lift and it will eventually stay out of your face. So just keep that in mind. This one probably needs a little intervention. Just, you can even see that when I'm moving and everything, it just wants to go in my face. So you're going to have to do something about that. It's likely your piece will do that as well, but you might get one with a little more contour in the front. That is a variation that you will see with these wigs. Let's just take a look, since I was just talking about the cap, let's just take a look at this cap. it is a premium wig. So you have a lace front here that is extended. It goes all the way to like right about here. I'll show that to you when I put it back on my head. What's so great about that is all of this looks super realistic. If you want to tuck, if you want to put the hair in the front up in clips, you can do all of that because you've got all that styling. It does have a mono part. It is a left side mono part, but all of this up here is hand tied. It's kind of a hybrid hand tied cap. You've got all of this is hand tied, and back here you have closed wefting. And so it's really a comfortable cap. It definitely feels like you just touching your scalp when you put your hands on it. It doesn't have all kind of the thick poofiness that regular wefted wigs have. Really a nice cap. This is very soft ear tabs, super soft with a metal stay. And then you also have an extended nape, super soft extended nape with Velcro adjusters. This cap is actually running a little bit larger than I'm used to with Ellen Villa wigs. So I actually have mine cinched in just slightly. I'm gonna pull the adjusters all the way out. So for those of you who may know, Ellen Villa is known for having their caps for running a little bit smaller. They, I believe, have been making some changes recently, especially to wigs that are meant for the US market. And their caps have actually gotten a little bit bigger. And I will say that this one seems like it's running just a little bit bigger than typical. It's extremely comfortable on my head. I have a 22-inch circumference, and I was wearing this with the adjusters cinched just slightly in, which means this is going to fit for sure 22-inch circumference just fine. This has a ton of stretch. So you have got, I really think this is going to accommodate true to average very, very well. Let's talk about that lace front that I was telling you about. So you can see right here, I purposely pulled this all up so that you could see. But we've got the lace that goes all the way down to here. So that gives you a lot of styling flexibility and keeps the density in the front low so that if you want to tuck, you're not going to deal with a lot of issues with tucking because you don't have all of this heavy density here. So this is a great tucking wig. This is a great styling wig. You have your mono part here. So one of the challenges, if you don't like to part your hair on the left-hand side, you might run into some challenges because it's not a monofilament on the top. It is all hand tied up here. So if you wanted to part it differently, I think you could get away with it because it's hand tied and it's a lot more natural looking than a wig that has, you know, permatease and wefting and all of that. But just keep in mind that it's meant to be parted right to left to right. But I really think you can get away with changing the part around on this one pretty easily. This one is, even though it's super light density, it is fairly densely knotted on the top, so you really can't see that part very much. So if you're someone who likes to show off your mono parts, you probably will find you have to pluck this one just a little bit to make it visible. And that's what I tend to do with a lot of my wigs that have a densely knotted part line. I do end up plucking them a little bit just because I like to be able to see that monofilament. I think it looks a lot more natural and realistic. I have a Tip Tuesday out there for you guys on how to do that. So if you're curious, just search Denise Sheets Pluck and you should be able to find that Tip Tuesday. It shows you how to pluck apart and pluck the lace front if it's a little too densely knotted. This one isn't really a problem. You can see right there's that lace front. It's very natural looking. A couple of things though with Ellen Villa wigs, I tend to find their lace to be very light, and sometimes it doesn't blend great with my skin tone, especially in the summer when I have a fair tan. I do sometimes feel like you can see that lace. So what I end up doing is I end up trimming my lace on wigs where I feel like you can really see it. It's really easy to do, and I do have a Tip Tuesday on that as well. well, but just kind of another thing to keep in mind on this wig journey. Lots of factors, and you know, wigs are not one size fits all. There's lots and lots of ways that you can customize a wig to make it more comfortable for you. This is, like I said, low density, light wispy fibers, incredibly realistic. If you get overwhelmed by wigs and hair a lot, this one is not going to overwhelm you. If you can do sort of a shorter style like this, it's really, really natural. And look at how cute this one looks when I tuck it. It's just the funnest little style. One of the things I really like about this as well is it's short in the back, but it has a bit of a longer nape. So I want you to look at that. See all of this wispy down here? Now, if you don't like that, that's very easy to trim up. But what's good about that is if you have a longer hairline in the back, sometimes shorter wigs can cause coverage issues in the back. So I really like that they left those longer pieces, and here on the sides especially, because that's going to cover. I have bio hair that shows on the sides right here a lot. That's going to cover my bio hair, which is going to be so important, especially if you choose a color that's not the same as your bio hair color. I always tell people when you're looking at short wigs, anything with a 2-inch nape or less, then you really need to be aware of your hairline and how your hairline reacts to that. For example, John Renault Ignite has a 1.5-inch nape, I think. That shows my bio hair if it's not buzzed or shaved. So just those are the things to know about yourself on this journey if you want to be sure that you're not going to have any coverage issues with your wigs. Okay, so before we get to color, which I'm just about to do, I just want to reiterate the fit of this one. So I have really good coverage on this. You can see a little bit of my bio hair here, but it actually gives me really good coverage. And you can also see that they brought the lightest color all the way up to that lace front, which helps to make the knotting hide, but you can see a lot of that really light color all the way up to the front. So kind of keep that in mind. I do not have any extra cap up here. So that's where I think the circumference and all of that feels a little bit bigger, but there's not a lot of room to grow up on the top. So what I would recommend that you do is you look at my measurements, which are in the description, compare them to yours. I think if you've got a 22-inch circumference, maybe even a little bit bigger, the circumference is going to fit you. Where you might get into trouble is if your measurements are too much bigger than me over the top from ear to ear, or from the front of your hairline to the nape. That's where you might start to feel that this cap runs a little small. And I just recently had a wig sister reach out to me about another wig I reviewed, and she said she has a 22-inch circumference and the wig was way too small for her and she couldn't wear it. I have the exact same wig and it fits me great. And I think it's because it's not just your circumference that matters. It's these measurements as well. And her over the top is much bigger than mine, which makes the wig feel smaller overall. So it's not always the circumference, it's also over the top. This fits me like a glove. I mean, it fits me like it was made for me. But I will tell you guys that I saw another review on this one on YouTube, and the person who was reviewing it I know has a larger head, and she said it fits her like a glove and fits her great. So take that for what you will. If you really want to get more feedback on this wig, do a search on YouTube so you can find other reviews. All right guys, let's move on to the color. Champagne Rooted. So the color code, again, is 22.16.25. Now, Ellen Villa has stopped including the root color on their color codes. I don't know why they did that, but this is a rooted color. I don't know what the color is of the root. When I take it off and we talk about it, I'll give you my best guess. But it's not a super dark root. I've actually wanted to see this color for so long, so I'm really glad to have it. Let's talk about what this is made up of though. So the description of this, I'll let you look at it while I'm telling you, is light beige blonde, medium honey blonde, platinum blonde, and a light brown root. So it is definitely a blonde. It is definitely a warm blonde. You've got a really good blending of all of those colors. There's no super stark highlights or lowlights or, you know, where you can see strips of the various colors. It's fairly well blended. And this root, my guess is this is a 10. I think they used a 10 on the root. It's definitely not a dark root. If it looks dark on this, it's because of all the light I have on me and just the way video pulls this. It's definitely not a dark root. I would say it's a 10, which means it's basically a light brown like they said, and a 12 is the lightest brown, and then you get into blondes. So you're really not that far onto the color codes for brunettes. It's a very light root. But I would say it's dark enough that I can feel comfortable with it as a brunette. So it definitely provides that. But if you like your roots a lot darker, keep that in mind. This is a light brown root. It's just a beautiful warm blonde. It's got some kind of platinum hints. It's not really a yellow blonde though. I think that, you know, in some lights it might pull a little bit yellow. Potentially, because you've got some of the honey in here. But I really don't think, I think it's just a great warm blonde, you know, a little bit of a kind of a creamy blonde. You know, they've got some of the beige in there, some of the platinum, which makes this so it's not really that yellow blonde that everybody feels like they need to tone. It's a beautiful color. Really pretty. Let's get outside so you can see this color outside. I think it kind of my assessment of this overall, it is such a comfortable wig. I really think it's polished and professional. It doesn't have poof. It doesn't have volume. That may not be a good thing. For some who don't want volume, you're going to love that. For others who like to get a little bit of volume here, that's going to be a challenge. It was a challenge for me right out of the box. I'm not very petite and I've got ample face. And so sometimes these really flat, low profile wigs aren't the most flattering on me. But I mean, I can already tell playing with it, you know, messing it up, doing all of this, it's starting to look a lot more natural to me. It's starting to stay off my face a little bit better. So I really think it's worth a try if you want to try a shorter style like this. You can always take steam to it and get some lift up here and get some lift here. All right, guys, let's get outside so you can see this color outside. All right, everyone, we have bright, bright sunlight here, so you're getting a really good look at this in bright sunlight. And hopefully this is a good lighting scenario so that you can see that this really is a light brown root. It is not a super dark root at all. So natural. You know, I think if you're someone who's wanted to try, let's say, Ignite by John Renault, this might be one to think about because it's sort of similar. It ignites a lot longer in the front, but it's sort of similar without all of the permatease and poof. And I think that will appeal to a lot of people. Nice and cool for summer. This one is going to be a nice one without all of that heavy bulk. All right, guys, hopefully you saw what you needed to see. Thanks so much for watching.